Hi everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu, and you know what? Sometimes I'm glad to just relax with a nice, cold, refreshing map like Samoski. And we've got a game today between GCC Strategos and Maxi. Maxi playing as the Americans, Strategos playing as the war criminals, and we've got, I actually shouldn't say that, all the sides committed war crimes. Did we see... Oh, no, this is Strategos I'm looking at. We did see Strategos earlier today on the Twitch stream, so welcome everybody watching the Twitch stream. You maybe remember Strategos from earlier. You may also remember Strategos from the video from earlier, that if you're watching on YouTube, so that was a few days ago probably. And Maxi just has straightforward-ish doctrines. And, yes, I do stream these live on twitch.tv/TychoCelchuuu, so stop by there and follow me on Twitch if you aren't already following me on Twitch. If you are, then congratulations. You've made a horrible mistake. But you can undo it. Simply subscribe to me and then you won't have to follow me at all. It's a pretty boring capping from both players, just capping the stuff closest to them. Looks like the dash to the fuel working a bit faster for the Germans than the Americans. We'll see how the Americans get to the fuel eventually. I suppose these are re-Rushline up here, making their way as we speak. Maybe we can just select them and find their destination. Doesn't look like it. I feel like when you click on a unit, you're supposed to be able to see like the little flag that was right-clicked to show its destination, but maybe that only works sometimes, or maybe it only works for like friendly units like this. And maybe it doesn't even work at all. I may be lying. I think I'm lying. Did I hallucinate that? Did that ever exist? So this is a pretty common tactic, hop in a building the first engagement you get into when you're outnumbered so that you can just delay the opponent for a while, but I don't know if Sturm Pioneers are the best ones to do it because you want to kind of be able to use them as shock troops to run in close to people and shoot them up, and you can't do that if they're taking damage like this before the fight starts, or before the big fight starts. I think it's better if you can have your Volksgrenadiers be the damage soaks, and then the Sturm Pioneers can feel unafraid of charging in. You notice right now they're charging in, and for a moment the Riflemen were focus firing. That could have gone relatively bad for the Sturm Pioneers had the Riflemen not been so badly destroyed in that matchup. If we look at map control, it's leaning a bit in favor of the Americans right now. 23 fuel income versus 16 for the Germans. But the Germans just capped the first VP of the game, so now we'll get some ticking on the Americans for all the good that'll do, which is none right now. Both players putting most of their efforts in the middle, as you can see, which is certainly a thing you can do on this map, especially once you've capped a fair amount of the side stuff, which both players have. The original Samoa, upon which Samoski is based, and Company of Heroes on the maps had capture points here and here, basically, and it was always a question when you would capture those, because you have to go way the fuck out of your way. They're in the middle of nowhere, and it's not like they'll ever be decapped or anything, so it's just when you get around to it when you want that income. Of course, the income was different in Company of Heroes. Those were just manpower points. They didn't give you, they weren't fuel points or munitions points. The way that all the CPs in Company of Heroes 2 are. Those give you beauty of fuel and no manpower. Your manpower income is constant, which I was originally not in favor of because I thought that takes one of the interesting resource mechanics out of the game. Now I think I'm actually maybe more on board with it, because having a constant manpower income makes the game less sort of snowbally. But I don't know. I actually don't really know exactly how I feel. Ultimately, if you have opinions, feel free to post them on YouTube in the comments below, where I'm sure there's just a bunch of other scintillating discussion, or some people saying first or whatever. Is Tycho good at playing this game? Asked Mr. Dubbers. Right now, no. I'm way out of practice. I used to be fine, like I think a little worse than Imperial Dan. Imperial Dan's really good for like somebody who's not really good, if that makes sense. I used to be like fine. It's always been such a small game that you can climb relatively high up the ladder just by playing and not sucking. But certainly right now I'm very bad. Very out of practice. And I was never like great or even good. So here's what I was saying about the way you want to be able to use your Sturm Pioneers. It's obviously tougher against people with bars, and that was a dangerous game of chicken. My goodness, I'm surprised the United States backed out of that, or that the German player didn't, but Strategos gets a pretty big coup, able to link this up, which is going to get, oops, just kidding. Man, that was a nice try at soft retreating there, just to the other side of the cap zone to cap the thing up before having to get out of there, but nice try. What was the German going to tech to? That just answered my question immediately. It's a command half track, and then do we see an AA half track? Because you got the fuel for anything out of here. So, yep, AA half track. Guess who's surprised? It's not me. What do you guys think? AA half track coming out on the field. We're definitely watching Company Heroes 2. I can give you that much. Oh, and look, the United States player is also doing it. That's more different. Usually I see a steward instead. But this time we went lieutenant, of course. So no steward. A few casts back for those of you watching on Twitch, and a few videos back for those of you watching on YouTube. You may remember I was feeling a little sleepy, and then 2 people subscribed, and I was like, ah! Ah, I'm awake now. I think it's starting to wear off. I'm starting to feel sleepy, so I'll try and keep my energy up, but if anyone wants to subscribe on Twitch, that would do it. And if you don't know why, give it a try, and you'll find out. But I'll be fine without it, don't worry. Certainly don't need to subscribe. So there's this, between the hill and the sandbags and the wall, I feel like this half-track would never have hit these Foxtroters, but they were worried, and so they left. Anyways, where's the German one? Oh, it's not even out yet, basically. What's the commander with the helmet over most of his eyes? Ask Elmers. I'm not sure which one. This guy? There's no weird commanders on display right now except for Overwatch Doctrine, which we have already ascertained. Yikes, what was that explosion? This is a little dangerous. Moving these things when they're near each other is dangerous because the one that's set up has the advantage. Distoffel asks, Tycho, what's your favorite movie and why is it Forrest Gump? Forrest Gump I actually really don't like. My favorite movie is Blade Runner. So, also, well, no, my favorite movie is Blade Runner tied with Dr. Strangelove. So,
Ambulance taking the field.
Forrest Gump I am not a fan. Distoffel does not believe my favorite movie is Blade Runner tied with Dr. Strangelove? Oh, he doesn't believe I don't like Forrest Gump. Look, I don't like Forrest Gump and I don't like Shawshank Redemption. I'm sorry, those 2 movies suck. If you like those, you like sappy bullshit.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
So I guess it's only when infantry move into the capture zone that it triggers the early warning. So I guess that's nice to know for vehicles driving around. Man, there's like a tiny hill, a tiny incline here, and that means the AA half-track was definitely never going to hit those guys, so it had to drive right up next to them. Firing at a building is probably the ideal case, because, like, sometimes, like, at least you don't miss. You can't fight here, this is the war room, exactly. Banfia, I can walk!
We're losing a capture point.
Ooh, are we slipping and sliding on the ice? Maybe not so much. I think one of the little touches in Company Heroes 2 that I think, oh Jesus motherfucking Christ Almighty, what the sweet jumping Jehoshaphat, was that a it must have been a Goliath. Oh my god, please rewind. Does anyone see that? Please clip it on Twitch and check the fucking minimap. It must have been A Goliath that just friendly fired? What the fuck just happened? Goliath, says Mr. Dobers. Okay, how did it kill a fuck? It killed the AA half-track? That's gotta be the biggest fucking goof of all. That, my friends, calls for a... Like, you kill your own fucking AA half-track with a Goliath? Jesus Christ. Oh, you know what? The Goliath was trying to blow up the building, but the building must have shot the Goliath first, so it split the difference. Still, what a clusterfuck. Well, and that thing's dead too, because this thing popped incendiary rounds. I don't even... This is suddenly just, Jesus. Also, a booby trap was triggered. Somewhere. I can't keep up with all this shit. Where'd the grenade go? Oh, it's just an incendiary grenade. I don't give a fuck about incendiary grenades. Don't stand in it, though. So is this actually fire, or is it just... Oh, bum! Good lord! Okay, that woke me up, too. Thank you, Al Hazred. I was actually woken up from the Goliath, but now I'm 100%. Oh my god. Gifted subscription to CoH2. Thank you, Al Hazred, who's also a subscriber of the channel. You are a mensch. Good stuff. Good shot. Now I'm 100% awake. This time, the lieutenant does not chicken out of the fight. You may recall down here there was a Storm Pioneer fight between the lieutenant and the Storm Pioneer, and the lieutenant ran away, and the lieutenant learned his lesson. He's not doing that again. And for those keeping track at home, Al Hazred has gifted 2 subscriptions thus far. I think both to CoH2. I'm not actually sure. What's the relationship there? Do you know CoH2, or do you just pick a random person each time? So mysterious. What's going on? For Ketten or for capping? Well, if you can't beat 'em, cap 'em. That's what I always say. Oh no, they didn't quite get the cap. I like saying cap. Cap, 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 cap. Oof. Those things are scary. Look at all these fucking flares. Just to reiterate how much it shows you, this is the German fog of war right now. Look at all this stuff the Germans can see. Oh, now they can't. But they could in the past, so that's what's key. Elmers, I don't have enough money to subscribe, but I can start translating your videos into Finnish subtitles. Good luck. That's a big pain in the ass. I think translation is much easier when there's subtitles already. And I don't subtitle my videos because that would be a huge endeavor, and I do feel bad about it. I wish people could watch my videos with subtitles, but it's like, even if I were talking sensibly, it just takes many hours to subtitle all the content I'm making, so... Maybe someday computers will do it, but I feel like a computer would have trouble keeping up with the bullshit I do. Like, I mean, honestly, if you're a computer, how do you subtitle this? I guess you just put brackets and say air horn, but there's other challenges, like when I make up words. Yep, CoH is my significant other, both fans from Argentina. Great, awesome, glad to hear it. I have never been to Argentina. The furthest south I've been is Mexico. I think I had a friend from Argentina, though. So Germans being pushed pretty far back considering the resources that they have, which are 2 MGs, a bunch of Volksgrenadiers, some Sturm Pioneers, but bars are just really good. Bars are really good. And specifically, bars are better than whatever Volksgrenadiers get with his STGs if they bother to upgrade, which they don't. So here's a bold tier 4. I don't know how I feel about this placement in tier 4. These 2 buildings so close and then this building relatively close makes it, number 1, very easy for people to get close and to sneak up on you because they can use the buildings as shot blockers. Number 2, it's very easy for people to hop in buildings and use handheld AT to fire at you. And, yeah, being snuck up on and being shot at are not great things, so I feel like that would be a not good situation. But, you know, it is guarding the cutoff. I guess it can maybe shoot this point, can it? I think it's got a line of sight. Yeah, it's got a I think. I don't think the shack is blocking stuff. I don't know. The fence is blocking things, but we'll see in a moment. Maybe? No, these guys... Oh, yes. Okay, it doesn't even hit the fence. Good. It's not as bad as the AA half-tracks. Which are both dead! We're 15 minutes in, and there's no vehicles on the field except an ambulance. Or should I say a Whaambulance, because it's funnier. I shouldn't, because it doesn't make any sense in context. Ooh, a major.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured.
So we have some nice machine gun setup. Relatively oh no, these guys are suppressed already. Relatively defensive, but I think slow and steady maybe wins the race for the Germans at this point. The big issue is now that there's a Sherman out. Whether the Germans can stop the Sherman. A Raketen is kind of all you need. Plus the Fausts, obviously, but you have to be ready. Artillery barrage incoming. That's major artillery, I assume? Yeah, it must be. It is. It's on cooldown. Nice uses of major artillery. Nice, nice, nice. Not doing a lot of damage to the church, but... Oh, I 100% take that back. Oh my god, I eat my words. That is the end of the church. HE shells. It's always exciting to see people load HE shells. That's when you know they're not messing around. They're not like, you know, I gotta be ready for anything. I gotta be cautious. What if a tank shows up that I wasn't expecting? It's like, no, I'm gonna fuck up some infantry. That is 100% the plan. Nothing else is on the menu. If it's not infantry, I ain't fucking it up, and if it is infantry, I am fucking it up. Bazooka on the rear echelon. This seems like a pretty common move from people. I totally understand it, because it's not like they're doing any damage to infantry, and the only thing you need the bazooka to do is hit, rather than, like, you know, do damage. I don't know, I guess if you care about accuracy. Whoop, that's the end of the HMG, so... But yeah, I mean, since they're not shooting any infantry or anything really, the rear echelon aren't terrible bazooka carriers, and if you can get them to Vet 3, they'll be a 5-man squad, so that makes it less likely that they'll get wiped and lose their bazooka or whatever, but... I don't know, it might be nice to have them on Riflemen sometimes, because the Riflemen come with their own snare. They're the ones with the AA, or AT grenades, and also I think they're more accurate than the rear echelons. A lot of Vet on the Germans. This is making weird noises. Feels like the guy from The Shape of Water is inside that thing swimming around. The fishman. Whew, still HE shells loaded. It's still only 6 kills, actually. Oh, I take it back. It's got 8 kills, my good lord. And no 50 cal on top except it's upgrading, so I take that back too. I take back everything I've ever said, and frankly, you should just watch all my casts with mute on, because, yeah. I like how you can see the tire tracks sort of leading to where they ended up. Good little detail. Did I ever say the little detail that I liked in Company Heroes 2 is sort of the physics as you're sliding around on the ice, like the vehicles? I think I never finished that thought. I wonder if anyone was waiting in suspense for that. If they were, you're welcome! Maybe show some gratitude, huh? Maybe show some fucking gratitude, you piece of shit. Red cover. This claims they're on red cover. I don't know who's on red cover. This guy? Alright, well, VP's looking pretty dire for the Germans. This is another reason to worry about that tier 4 placement. It's not covering any VPs. It's close to the middle VP. Nice for Captains. It's close to the middle VP, but it's not over the middle VP, or it's not over the left VP or the right VP, so that makes it relatively easy for the Americans to contest all 3 of the VPs, which is not what you want. Whoop, who just got grenaded? Oh, these guys, it's just an insane grenade, which is not what you want when you're low on VPs. Combat unit ready for action. That means Rangers. Rangers are big fucking assholes, and we're here to ruin everybody's day and chew bubblegum. And we're all out of bubblegum, and we got some Tommy guns. The iconic and infamous Thompson submachine gun. Cool. We are cool. We are Rangers.
Ability now ready.
I hope there weren't people in that, like civilians in that building when it went down. That'd be bad. They just get 4 though, sister. Just get 4? 4 is a lot. 4 is more guns than the Major has entirely. Can't even concentrate on posting trash in chat, so I must sleep. Goodbye. Bye, Elmers. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you had fun. If you didn't, you can blame yourself. That Sherman is dead and basically sunk too. This is the German way back into this game. There's an infantry support gun for mysterious purposes. But the problem is the United States has 200 fuel, so we can easily just chop out another Sherman. And with a triple cap still going, the VPs are very swiftly sinking. Seems like the German player is desperately seeking losing right now. Get it? Like desperately seeking Susan, desperately seeking losing. Did nobody get that? I don't actually know what Desperately Seeking Susan is. I think it's a movie. Never seen it. Just know the title. Where's the infantry support gun firing?
A capture point is under
Smoke is interesting. Gotta get that metal VP, I guess. 1 point will stop the triple cap, but it won't stop the double cap. Can you give Rangers bars in addition to Thompsons? Let's see. Yes. They work at cross purposes, though. The Tommy gun you want to keep on the move. The bar you want to fire stationary. Pershing. That's why we were holding off on not getting another Sherman. Oof, I don't know if the German comes back from this. They have 182 fuel in the bank, but this seems relatively difficult. I don't know. 2 Rakettenwerfers can kill any United States tank twice over. But you see the German getting a little desperate to cap VPs, losing a squad right there. Yeah, careful with the Pershing on the ice, buddy. You don't want that to sink and immediately die. That's one ridiculous mechanic that I don't mind too much, merely because you can avoid it by staying off the ice. Oh boy, infantry support can kill somebody. 1 kill. I'm so proud of you. Okay, here's the 2 Rakettens. This is the last-ditch attempt for it to win for Germans. And the Pershing is doing the worst possible thing, which is driving in and then directly out in view of them. But it looks like he'll get away anyways. Could have been much worse. Could have been better, too. Relatively long-range Rangers still doing some damage, but then they get really hurt, and that was... Ooh, boy! That was a Tommy Gun Ranger squad. Not good. Those do not come cheap. At least there's a Pershing to comfort you. In this trying time, when we all must come together to mourn the loss. Okay, we're about to have a triple cap again. German can't afford this. I don't know why you're fucking around down here when, you know, there's... I guess you can get an incendiary grenade into the machine gun and burn it down while the opponent's not looking, but, like, still, you do need to keep control of that, ideally. Triple cap, man. We're down to 62. I feel like a moment ago we were at 71. Too bad. Yeah, 50 VPs. Well, the Panzer IV is coming out. The Sherman is partially repaired. This is one of those things where you can't hop out of the tank, so... An interesting edge case for the United States. We're 24 minutes in and frag grenades have just been researched, so maybe some munitions will start going towards that instead of the, I was correct, instead of the, Tommy guns. Yikes, nice! Grenade. Takes down some overslot, and there's no way, yeah, so they might wipe this squad here, but, they just drop a bar for the lieutenant. The lieutenant's happy to take that. Probably more effective with the bar than the rifleman. No big deal. Up, triple cap is back. 28 VPs. I'm scared shitless. These riflemen will probably just sacrifice themselves. Well, inadvertently, they sacrifice themselves. Give up a bar, which is not great, but, you know, as long as the United States can hold on to the 2 points, the middle and the right, it's GG. And the Sherman, or the Pershing, I think will, well, doesn't even need to hold. I was gonna say we'll hold things pretty well, but not even necessary. Down to 3 VPs. Down to 1 VP, GG. Alright, the lesson here is video games and TychoCelchuuu. And don't blow up your own AA half-track with a Goliath, and Goliaths are not great. Thanks for joining me.